All right. Nintendo. I had totally forgotten last week that there was going to be a Nintendo Direct this week. And there were a few things that I want to talk about. Mostly Capcom again.
Go for it.
Capcom giving the people what they want. So they come out and announce that there's going to be a Capcom Fighting Collection 2 that will include both Capcom versus SNK games, um, Capcom versus SNK Pro, and Capcom versus SNK 2. SNK versus Capcom was actually released during Evo a few weeks ago, and I think that's on PC already. I can't remember if it's on console, but um, yeah. So it's gonna have the two Capcom versus SNK games, both of the Power Stone games for Dreamcast. Um, Plasma Sword, Project Justice, um, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, and Capcom Fighting Jam, or Capcom Fighting Evolution, which is not a particularly great game, Joel. I had it on PS2. I actually sold that game because it wasn't good. But again, man, Capcom no, and I wonder what other collections they're working on. Like at this point, like are they gonna do an Onimusha collection? Like, are they going to renew the John Renault license to for him to be back in Onimusha 3? And so, yeah, man, Capcom, they've given us everything. I think the only game that's trapped behind licensing hell is um, Tatsunoko versus Capcom. That game probably will not happen, or
I'll give
we'll
you.
see a re-release because of how those Tatsunoko licenses were handled in the West, as you know, compared to Japan, where Tatsunoko own all of these things, but over here, like a dozen different companies own different things, and it's probably going to be very very hard to achieve. But man, Capcom just bringing it, giving the people what they want, and I am so happy. Also, Konami's not too far behind because they went ahead and released, like, Shadow Drop that same day, the Castlevania Dominus Collection, which is basically the DS games. So Donosoro, Order of Ecclesia, and what was the other one? The other one I forgot. Portrait of Ruin. So those are the DS games, and yeah, they're out on the Switch. I believe they're on PS5 as well, and Xbox. Capcom Fighting Collection not on Xbox. Joe, what's going on, bro?
Wow.
Not on
Wow.
Xbox again. They didn't
Just
get the Marvel
upsetting.
versus Capcom, and they're not getting this one. I don't know, man. So, funny story. My Marvel versus Capcom. Uh, I logged into Best Buy. It's like, oh, let me see what I have on pre-order right now, because I totally forgot. I and I had Marvel vs. Capcom. I don't know why I picked the Switch version. It's like, no, I don't want that. I want the PS4 version. So I had to cancel my order because I can't switch it. I had to cancel the pre-order, add the and then do a whole new pre-order for the PS4 version. It's like, yeah, I need a physical copy of this game because
Right.
Disney can come in one day. It's like, hey, okay, licensing's over. You can't buy this game online anymore. So I just need it on disc. Um, but yeah, man, classic games for the win. Honestly, a lot of cool stuff happening with the Switch, and I just wish that my prediction would have been correct, and we would have gotten a new console this year. But hey, we'll wait it out, I guess. Um, yeah, not too much craziness happening on this direct. Yakusaki Mwami is coming out on the Switch, and that's basically it. There's a lot of indie games announced, and some of them look great, some of them look okay. I'm not. You know how I feel about indie games. I think that
Yeah.
whole indie game mania that we had at a few years ago kind of died down. I think people realized that these games, you know, for every 10 indie games, two were great and eight were just there. And I don't want to disparage anyone. Making a video game is really hard, but that's the sad reality when it comes to indies, in my opinion. So, uh, it's the sad reality when it comes to Ubisoft too. I was like, 2 out of 10 are great. So that's unfortunately how I feel. But bigger news, I think, than that is that the alleged design for the PS4 Pro leaked out, and leaks suggest again that there will be an event early next month, which could happen next week.
Right.
And this thing's gonna come out this year. Like these things are like rolling out of production. There's a leaker out there saying, "Yeah, I saw it. This is what it looks like." Basically, I'm gonna describe it to you. The one that I saw didn't have a disk drive, but they are calling it PS4 Pro, PS5 Pro. I'm sorry. Yeah, man. What do you think?
Well, it's ironic because I purposely made sure that we kept the record of your prediction, and you said on our episode on June 27th, you said July or August reveal of PS5, a PS Pro console, PlayStation 5 Pro console arriving in stores November. Now, it seems like we're on task for, I mean, based on this report, that during the first half of September is when the announcement would come. So you might have been off by a month or two at max at that point when the announcement
I
is.
still take it.
But exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like that's still pretty darn accurate. Because if it still comes out stores in November, what you would think November or even December, it's still by the end of the year. So like that quarter part of the year. Um, I think it just makes sense. I mean, you just had Xbox last week. We were talking about doing their next iterations, and I was saying, where are you, PlayStation? This is your moment. Maybe don't announce it the next day. Don't make it look too obvious,
Right.
But but make sure that they know we've been working on this for a while, clearly, and it's time. So I expect it as well. This report makes complete sense. The white color, the two USB-C ports on it, the no disk drive, just the slim nature of it. I think it's gonna be a gorgeous console when we see it finally in its entirety, and I think it's gonna just continue to sell well. I know people just recently that I was speaking to that said, "Hey, maybe by the holidays I'll buy myself a PlayStation 5 or this." People who don't have, people who are switching or people who have their Nintendos or have their PC consoles are saying, "If I'm gonna get a console, I'm gonna add to the collection. PlayStation's the first one up,"
Yeah.
and that's very telling.
Yeah. Did you see that the PS5 went up in price in Japan?
$99 or something crazy.
$90. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Japan don't play, bro.
No, Japan don't play. They're yeah. Um, I think
that's
they're
supply and demand.
yeah, yeah. The timing is right on this one. If you ask me, right, unless there was a revision made to what the supposed specs for the successor of the Switch are, April of next year may be too late. That's what I'm concerned about. That by the time those things start coming out, we already have the ROG Ally and all these other portables, PC portables that are, more powerful than a PS4 Pro. And here comes the Switch with a PS4 Pro specs. Although they, based on some of the specs that got out there, the Switch or whatever the next Switch is going to be will be close to a ROG Ally. They said it's like on par with the ROG Ally, which is fine. But it concerns me that it's going to be too little, too late. That's the only concern that I have about that. Is it going to sell well? Yes. Is it going to have longevity? I don't know. The Switch has proved me wrong, which is insane. I was watching the direct yesterday with my daughter, and she's like, "Oh, some of those games look like phone games. They don't look like Switch games." I was like,
Wow.
"Yeah, the Switch is like that's the best they
Fine.
can do right now." Best I
Yeah.
can do is just graphics. Because and it's true. Like some of those games, especially during the indie, the indie section of the direct, some of the games look rough. Like the Power Wash Simulator looked like a PSP game. So I don't know, man. Speaking of, there's more again rumors of Sony trying to make a comeback on the handheld. So, and Xbox too. Like there's rumors that these guys are gonna do something. Man, I had the money for a PlayStation Portal the other day, and
You thought
I
about it.
thought about it. I thought about it. I know you thought about it too.
Oh, I've thought
Yeah,
about it multiple times.
yeah. I thought about it, bro. And but it.
There's
I don't
actually a
know.
world where like I would get it in the right means, and they've sold me on it. That's what I'm saying.
Can you fit um what are the those grips called? The ones that
Oh,
came out, the
backbones.
backbones. It's do those fit on iPad or is just they're
I don't
I
know.
don't think
I
I
only
don't
know the phone
the
ones.
phone right. Let me
I don't
see.
know that it connects the same way on an iPad.
Controller
Maybe it does.
for
But you would just use
iPad.
on an iPad, you would just prop it up and connect your DualSense to that point.
Right.
You don't need to have a backbone. You
Um
wouldn't hold your screen.
let's see. iPhone, iPad mini. So Razer has the Kishi that goes up into an iPad mini.
Wow.
iPad. Yeah, the backbone. They have a
But the
USB.
thing
Uh-huh.
the thing with the backbone that's great is that like you can use your data plan to stream games, or with the Portal, you're
Exactly. Yeah.
required to be Wi-Fi only.
Yeah. Exactly. Man, I like because if there be something like that, right, that would fit an iPad, I would get that
You'll be right next to the
for
wife.
remote play, dude. That's not. Hey, you know what?
I'm not judging. I'm just laughing. There's a use case for it.
There's a use case for everything, sir.
A hundred percent.
There's a saying out there. I'm not gonna say it because this is
Yep, yep,
a
yep.
family friendly podcast, sir. But there
Yep,
is
yep.
there is a saying. But I am looking
Yep.
forward to what the new PS5 Pro would be.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yep.
I'm looking forward for the Switch too. The Switch. I mean, it's about time. They need it. I don't know if that's gonna be necessarily a day one for me. Because I'm just smiling because Duolingo is harassing me and it's making weird faces. The meme is real, guys. If you're into Duolingo, you
I
can't
get you.
escape. You can't escape. So, um, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to any of them right, at this point. Am I gonna get a PS? I'm perfectly happy with my PS5 right now. I'm fine. Um, I don't think that. I mean, it looks great on my TV. I don't really see a lot of problems with it. Unless there's like a big game, like I don't know, if they announce the third Final Fantasy remake part, and they say, oh yeah, it runs like 4K 60 on the PS4 on the PS5 Pro, then probably. But at that point, it would be so old that it's probably not worth it. So I
Probably.
can deal with the 4K 30 at some point. So at that point, I'll wait until whatever it is the next thing is. So, but for Nintendo, man, they need it. We need that Mario Odyssey 2. It needs to happen as soon as possible, guys. Come on, guys, give it to me right now. No, oh no, give it to me with the new Switch. How's that? I'll buy it. But Nintendo, I will buy a new Switch or whatever the next console is day one if there's a Mario Odyssey 2 with it. Like if Mario Odyssey 2 comes out the same day, I'll buy it day one. And I never buy consoles day one. So there you go.